family. You don't know what hard times are, Daddy. You know it. Get ready. Woo! We are doing, and we're doing it better than anybody else alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair.
I am Jay Tilley. A little rusty, sorry.
And we are joined, dare I say, graced with the presence of the one and only Jeremy. Thanks for joining us from the great state of Georgia. I hope everything is good and well for you. And man, it has been a very, very long time since Jay Tilley and I were live and nationwide. So it is awesome to be here. We probably will touch on a little bit of pro wrestling, little sports entertainment, but today it's probably one of our favorite shows because it's okay to not be okay. And with that, Jay Tilley, man, brother, it's good to see you. What is up?
Hey, man, it is good to see you too. Yeah, hopefully this will start the trajectory of some normal recording because, we got some big things coming up for the show. Specifically, we'll plug it at the end too, but I'll plug it now too. On Monday night, Thunder Rosa on her Thunder Chat podcast, you can find it on her YouTube channel, has invited us. We didn't go to her to get an interview. She asked us to come on her show, which is kind of insane. And it's ironic that it's right after the 22nd show. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we were going to be joining Thunder Rosa and enjoying some chat on her podcast, which will be pretty cool. Just going to kind of talk about what we do, specifically involving the 22nd and the talks we have. So super excited about that. And then we're also going to start hearing, you might start hearing us mentioned on Fightful starting in August. We have talked to some of the Fightful people at Fightful.com, and we are a proud sponsor of some of the Fightful stuff. So they will be name dropping us too. So big things happening. So good thing we're kind of on the back end of your vacation. Prime Week's done. And, we're kind of hitting the second phase of the personal stuff you got going on. So we're hoping to maintain, but we'll see how we do. But, and then throw it over to Jeremy too. We haven't talked to you in a while, man. Anything new going on with you other than the wedding stuff before we get into the fun deep talks?
I am actually getting back to the root of what I do professionally, which is peer specialist working with mental health. I've been in a housing program for the last 3 years, which was meaningful, helping as a case manager to keep people housed. But it was really far and away from what my passion, which is helping people with mental health issues. So real excited about that, starting that hopefully in a week or so. I don't have a firm start date, and I have an end date of my current job. So we'll see how that works out.
So nobody at your current job listens to this, do they?
They already know. I mean, they know I'm ending. Yeah. I've returned my notice. My note. I end my current job on the 28th. I don't have a start date for my new job.
Oh,
which is questionable decision, but I was done. So, we'll see how that works out for me. But I'm excited, and I'm excited to be back on here. I know you guys had some crazy times last month. You both kind of forgot last minute. So I did listen to the show. It was a good show, but I'm glad to be back on.
Cool, man. Yeah, we're glad to have you. I'm a little distracted. I apologize. Rumble did not go live, so I'm trying to set it up while we're talking. But for those of you that are maybe just joining us, I know on the Fantasy Sports Network, Ellie Jair and I usually get on and we do our wrestling wrap-up review of the week. However, this one happened to fall on the 22nd, which I believe we've done one other show on this network on the 20th. Actually, I think we did it on a Monday, but it was the 22nd also. So we probably will touch maybe on some wrestling if we got some time at the end. It was a pretty big week overall, but this is basically a focus on, not even a focus, just our way of getting on and talking a little bit about mental health. For those of you new, none of us are licensed. None of us are professionals. We're just two disabled vets, Ellie Jair and I, who deal with their own issues. We come on and kind of say, hey, it's okay not to be okay. If a badass Marine like, LEJ over there can have some mental issues, if a little weak ass Air Force dude can have some mental issues, and it's fine. And then Jeremy, like you said, is in the industry. Again, not licensed or anything, but does help people with mental issues, and is also a suicide attempt survivor. So the three of us just kind of come and tell our stories. Jeremy will give a little insight into some of the things he sees in the field that he's in. Maybe talk a little. I don't know. I don't know where this one's going to go today. It's kind of up in the air. So we'll see what direction we go. A lot of times I start off with a story or what I'm dealing with or anything, but kind of like last week, I actually feel pretty good. I haven't had a lot of setbacks. I've been talking to somebody. So maybe that's why. Maybe I'm kind of letting it all out before I get on here and go, oh my God, like this hit me this week and this hit me that week. I still kind of run into, a couple issues, just normal day things. There's still the doubt that runs in my head. I'm starting to, with talking to people, realize I have an issue with, I don't want to say abandonment, but it's this weird thing, right? So just, I guess I will start off. So Ellie Jair, my partner in crime at work, is going to a new building. And it's funny because when he first told me, I resented it. I was so mad about it. He doesn't know this. He's going to find this out right now. But I got really, really mad. Like, I felt like he betrayed my trust in me, and I was really upset about it. But then I kind of, after talking about it, I'm like, no, that's my own mental issues doing that because of the fear of abandonment and the fear of somebody leaving me. And I know it's stupid. And when I got mad at him, I knew it was stupid. And obviously, Jared, I don't care. Like, I'm happy, excited. But that initial was like, bam. I'm like, whoa, like, what the hell, man? Every time. And then talking to my counselor and everything, it's because Rob died. So Rob left me in my mind. And now Ellie Jair, my next best friend, is leaving. And it was like one of those things that really messed me up for a couple of days. And I kind of got over it and I'm good. But so it's funny how the grief of losing a brother from 30 years ago that I've, grown up with affected one of my best friends now. Actually getting a good push and a good career move affected the way I kind of had the outlook on that. So interesting mental health, man. It's crazy how things creep up and hit you and you don't realize it. And then when you kind of start psychoanalyzing yourself, you go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that was mine. I'm good though. Like, other than that, I'm pretty good. Like I said, I kind of hit that and was able to deal with it myself. And, like talking to people, and I'm like, all right, yeah, now I understand why I got upset. It wasn't at him. It was just that what it triggered in me.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you sharing that too. And we went through this a little bit when you ventured off on your walkabout, and I was like, oh man, he's like my, tag team partner at work, and now we have our show. And, when I was a kid, I had a hard time saying goodbye, and because all my siblings were in the military, so they would come and visit. And we just got off of a vacation where I was lucky to spend time with all my family all at once. And so saying, getting ready to leave, I had to like mentally prepare myself to leave and say goodbye and all that. So instead of saying goodbye this year, I was like, all right, we'll see you guys later. And, we have them scheduled to come visit every couple of weeks. One of the parts of the family are going to come and visit. So that'll be really neat. Get to hang out with Clint, introduce him to Jay Tilley and the crew. But yeah, no, that's a real thing. I mean, the fear of, being alone and, but no, I appreciate you sharing that, man. That's legit.
Yep. Cool. Jeremy, what do you got? Give us your 2 cents worth of it.
Okay. I'm glad you're still working on or going to therapy and working on your issues. I love it. I love hearing it. As far as what's going on with me, I am working with my therapist, and we are realizing that I don't do really well with loss and grief. I have a hard time processing it. I mean, there has been loss that I've experienced in my life where it's taken me years to deal with it. It's something I don't know if I avoid it or what the deal is. So right now, that's what I'm working through. I'm working through loss and grief. Um, you know, starting with my dad. Well, actually, no, it goes back further than that. My divorce, losing my relationship with my kids, not being able to be part of their lives because I was a super involved father. Um, every school event, every parent teacher conference, every open house, every extracurricular activity, I was always there. I found a way. Um, so that just went ripped right out of my life. And I have not processed that yet, even now, 5 years later. So I've just been finding out that it's a weakness of mine. It's something that I need to build up that a healthier response. So that's what I'm working through right now is dealing with loss because then I lost my dad and then I lost my grandfather and then I lost Rob, which was devastating, of course. And I lost my kids a second time because we built up a relationship and then they got some attitude and now they don't talk to me anymore. So it's just been a lot of loss over the last few years that I haven't really like I thought I was dealing with it, but talking to my therapist, we're realizing no, I really wasn't. I was kind of avoiding it and trying not to deal with it, and I'm still bitter and angry, and I need to work through those emotions because they're not healthy. They're not helping me in my life. So, to any of the listeners, if you're struggling with loss and grief, I feel you. I hear you. If it takes you a long time to heal, it's okay. If you feel like you're not making progress, that's okay too. But I encourage you to reach out and get help. It's okay to go to a therapist, even if you don't have a mental illness diagnosis. There are therapists that focus on grief. That's their thing. And you could go work with one to help you get through your difficult times. And then you don't have to see a therapist anymore unless you want to. So I encourage everyone to reach out if you need help dealing with loss. And it doesn't have to be death. Loss can take many forms: loss of a job, loss of a relationship, loss of a home. Loss is difficult for our brains to process. We get used to certain things, and when they're taken away from us suddenly, our brains don't know what to do. Um, and different people process things differently. So I encourage everyone to reach out and get some help if they're struggling with loss.
Yeah, loss and grief are huge. I don't think people realize. I think people think, oh, you just go through the 7 stages and that's it. You're done. But the 7 stages can creep up years around, and it could go back and forth. And you brought up Rob, and I remember the funeral or getting ready for the funeral. I was very stoic and trying to, not really put myself in motion out there. You were too, but our other buddy was angry. He was mad about how it all went down, and it angered him. And I was like, man, I just don't feel the anger. Now I did after a couple of days of thinking through some stuff. I'm like, God damn it. Like, why didn't he this, that, and that or whatever? But, so he had anger first and then he had grief. Whereas, I kind of hit the holy shit, he's gone, like the disbelief of it until I went up and stood at that damn podium and I was done. But we ain't going to go into that story. But, it's just, everybody, like you said, everybody deals with it differently. And I didn't expect this podcast to be about grief and the sadness of stuff, but it is one of those, definitely one of those things that you should check. Like you said, it could be everything. It could be anything, right? It could be the loss of a pet, even, people grieve over that. It could be, like you said, a job or, a coworker. Like I just said at the beginning, a coworker leaving to go to another job.
Mm-hmm.
Great. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but
Yeah.
it was like, oh, and it's just one of those things that if you've lost somebody or lost several people or lost things, and it could compile. I mean, there's times that I think about my father, and he passed away almost 40 years ago, and there's times that creeps in and I grieve over that. So it's just, it's a powerful thing. And if you don't know how to respond to it, or you don't understand what's going on, it could be scary for sure. It was one of the reasons I wanted to talk to somebody, because I didn't realize how much losing Rob affected me and the grief. And then the things with the military, another grief that I was going through was leaving the military with no clear direction in life. It was just like, I've done this for 24 years and I had a purpose. I went to job. I was defending the country. I was, jumping up to, 9/11, send me over there, give me a gun, like whatever. Like I was ready to go, to poof, that's all gone. And I know we kind of talk a lot about veteran stuff, but that's one of those things that I think affect a lot of vets. You leave this structure, this every day they tell you this is what you're doing every day. You have a bigger purpose in life, is the way I look at it, in the military, and then you don't. And I think a lot more people deal with grief on that end and don't realize it sometimes, because that's one of the other things that has come up. Like I grieve over that, and that's part of the depression I was fighting, and the anxiety I was having is all because I went 24 years of a job that I knew I went to Monday through Friday. I knew what to expect. I knew I had pride in that uniform. To not that I'm saying I don't take pride in my work now, but I move boxes from one end of a building, out to the customers, which is great. I love doing it. Well, I do it. I won't say love it. I do it, but it's not like, doing, reading intel reports and helping identify targets overseas, if that's the case, or, talking to a pilot and debriefing him on what he saw, or, cutting intel on even weather reports, right? Like it's not the same. It's just not. So for any of our vets that listen out there, that's a form of grief. When you leave that life and change, grief is part of that mental change you're going to go through for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And like when I got ready to retire, I was like physically at the limit with back injury and 3 surgeries, feet, and I was just ready. And I was lucky to fall in with a group called ACP. It's American Corporate Partnership, and I had an awesome mentor who was a prior Navy who had moved into the private sector and civilian sector, and he totally helped me out and helped me sort of transition mentally, because like you said, you're going to lose your entire network of people, of what literally the Marine Corps language. I was basically having to go learn an all new language around people. So when I left the Marine Corps, I had a small, meaningful ceremony, and that felt like some closure. But like Jay Tilley, like when I was fortunate to be able to finish my degree before I retired, and I was going through the mail. I ripped an envelope open. I'm like, oh, my diploma. And, that was like how Jay Tilley got his separation paperwork and retirement stuff. You were like, oh, I guess the president thanked me for my service, and I'm done. Like, wait, what? So when I hit 30 years, it was like sort of a sigh relief. I was like, okay, I'm completely off the books. I'm, so all this is going to say, brothers and sisters in arms, or firefighters, law enforcement folks that are in this camaraderie, cohesive, and I'll air quote unit that you're in. And it could even be in a non-military or non-law enforcement, whatever, you're just around each other 24/7, and someone leaves, it's like a part of you is now gone. Or, a new person comes, and, people are going to gravitate to them, and sometimes it'll mess up like the whole dynamic in the workplace. So getting that closure, not to say that like anything has ended, but okay, cool. You had a great career. It's time to move on. People thanked you for your service already. Now you've got other stuff to go do. So, I was real fortunate for Tiff to sort of help me through some of the last, bits and pieces. And then, tag teaming with Jay Tilley has helped quite a bit. And then I have a great counselor she's fantastic. So, no, that's cool. I didn't even, you don't even really put 2 and 2 together when you're getting ready to retire. I was worried about my quality of life. I wanted to make sure that I found a job that I could make enough money that my family wouldn't suffer. So it was like, okay, that was what I was my sole focus was to improve or sustain or improve my quality of life. And I didn't even, take into consideration my like mental and physical well-being, through all that whole thing. And fortunately, I've been able to keep it on the rails and have some fun over the last few years. And, here we are now on in the No Shave Man Cave with Jeremy hanging out with us up in Georgia. And yeah, man, things are getting there. So if someone's sitting there and you're listening and, we have made a connection or something that one of us said, like made you think, oh, damn, that's a little bit of me. Cool. Now use this information to get more information to strengthen your friend group and be like, hey, it's okay. And you don't have to go over the top, like, okay, guys, let's talk about our feelings 10 minutes before work. That isn't always necessary. But, sometimes, and Jay Tilley's done it with me, like, just shot me a text. You good? And I give him a call. Hey, what's going on? And it's just like, just wanted to kind of get out of my thoughts for a minute. And I give you a call and we don't really even talk about anything. But it was enough to break that cycle that I was getting into. And yeah, man, this is a awesome platform. We get to talk about wrestling and, we're getting ready to do WrestleMania. Tickets go on sale pretty soon. And, when we're sitting there, Cody Rhodes has been grieving a loss, and the misery and pain that I have felt since the end of WrestleMania soon will be wiped away when I'm in the presence of the American Nightmare and he wins the world title. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm pumped.
You think that's what's going to happen to WrestleMania, huh?
I think he'll win a title
WWE's gonna
at
swerve
WrestleMania.
Yep.
Yeah.
WWE's gonna swerve you. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be SummerSlam in order to break Hogan's record. So it'll be a huge, meaningful match. Maybe he doesn't win a title, but he'll win whatever match he's in, and then probably Royal Rumble as well, and that's how he'll get his hands on Roman Reigns. So, man, God, what an ending!
I saw somebody speculating, and keep in mind, I don't watch wrestling regularly, and I still haven't watched AEW. But for the WWE side of things, I saw somebody speculating that the next face of the company, because that's how WWE does things. They pick a face of the company, and that's who they ride for the next 10 years or whatever. I thought I saw some people speculating that it might be LA Knight, not Cody.
I think that's what a lot of people want. So LA Knight is, yes, I think LA Knight is what the fans want right now. And I don't think anybody would be mad with Cody too, but I don't know that WWE is going to push him though, because he didn't win this Fatal 4-Way just now to try to get the U.S. title. He's kind of got iced a little bit for a few matches. Like he wasn't on TV for a while. I almost feel like they're cooling him down now. It could be cooling him down to push him. I don't know, but LA Knight's good though. I would be okay with LA Knight also.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a Daniel Bryan situation because LA Knight, is ready for the camera. He's ready for the big time.
Yeah,
and,
but the thing is
it's going to be this continued. Yeah,
they burned Danielson, and now look where he's at. So they could do the same thing to LA Knight. You just never know with WWE. It really they must have like a big wheel in there. Who's going to make the decisions? Vince. We're screwed.
Oh, there he goes. I thought we lost you for a minute. You froze up.
Yeah, some schmuck who get paid minimum wage. You never know. You never know with them.
Look at the janitor. Hey, who do you want to push?
It's just or either that or they just have a list of faces and they just spin it, and whatever wrestler ends up showing up, that's who we're gonna pick.
I mean, they
people at random.
Yeah, they tried to really push Roman Reigns there for a long time before he came in, but I don't want to swerve too far off the mental health stuff
Yeah.
because we're getting into some
I
good stuff.
I
But
actually have something I want to say real
we'll
quick.
stand by.
Uh,
I'm gonna hit
okay,
commercial
okay.
break, and then I'll let you do it when we get back from commercial. Let's pay or hopefully pay some bills.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code NOSHAVE to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
All right, now you can go, Jeremy.
Okay. Two things I want to touch on. The first, I have a joke, and it's eating at me to say it.
Okay.
You come home from work, you find out your dog ate a box of crayons. What do? Enlist him in the Marines.
I was just gonna say, sign him up for the Marines. Hey, when I found out Jared was a Marine and he was getting done with Academy at Amazon, I totally wanted to go buy a box of crayons and have it at his desk when he got back, but I got told I couldn't do it.
They make chocolate crayons. You need to get him a box of chocolate
Yummy.
crayons.
I have a hat that says USMC, and it looks like a box of Crayola crayons.
All right. So
Nice.
what I wanted to throw out there was my observations about leaving the military from the outside looking in, both from watching what you guys have gone through, and I have worked with several veterans over the years. So I've kind of seen what they went through, and I've seen people who have hit rock bottom after leaving the military. Being in the military is more than just a job. It's like I mentioned, you can go through grief from losing a job. Military is a way of life. Like if you're active duty and you've served wherever, they tell you when to wake up, what to put on, where to go, how to do it, and you do it the way they tell you to, and you're good. And it becomes all you know. And when you leave, it's like leaving home for the first time and then losing a job you love at the same time. It's like that. I have to face reality now of a world that I know nothing about. And I don't have anybody who really has my back. And I just lost the job that I love, whether because I retired, whether because of medical issues, or by choice. So what do I do now with my life? And I've seen people thrive, like you guys, struggled, but thrived. And I've seen people just fall off the face of the earth. They turn to drugs and alcohol. Many of them, the drugs start because of the pain from the injuries that they experienced when they were in the military. And the pain pills turn into heroin, and heroin turns into fentanyl, and then they go through a fentanyl overdose and die. I've seen them homeless. I've seen alcohol addiction. I've seen lost relationships with spouses and children because they didn't know what to do and they didn't know where to go. And we will say this, that the VA needs to step up. They have made progress, but they've got a long way to go. There needs to be more transition planning, more people involved in adjusting those lifelong guys to civilian life. And I do encourage anybody who's served, who is struggling and doesn't know what direction that they want to go, to reach out and get help. Even if you're not, I mean, we talk a lot about 988 and suicide prevention and being in crisis. Even if you're just lost and you don't know what to do with your life, there are resources outside of the VA that you can tap into and get help. Look at your local social services. Look what they provide for low income and no income individuals. Don't just go to the VA for your behavioral health, because depending on where you live, you may find yourself lacking right there. So reach out for those state and local resources, and um, there's job training out there. There's people who can help if you're struggling trying to get a disability claim through the VA. God help you, but there are legal resources to help people who are struggling with getting disability. Um, whatever challenges you face, don't give up. Don't give in. The help is out there. You just have to know to look for it.
Yeah, there are a ton of resources, and what like me, I kind of fell through the cracks because it was COVID and all this other stuff. So I didn't go through any of the taps or getting ready to adjust to outside life. And you made a comment about it's a way of life, and it's kind of how you. I don't. It's even more than that, right? Like, so you look at me, right? I joined at 18 years old. I retired 24 years later, and at 18, you're still technically maturing, and you're growing up and maturing and learning life in this structure. And so I went from, I mean, realistically, 18, you're still a kid. So I went from being a kid to a grown up in the military life, and then it's gone. It's ripped from you. You're done. And it's just like, oh, what now? And I wasn't even full active duty. I did the reserve side of it. I was active duty for time, but I ended in the reserve side or the National Guard side, full time National Guard. But like that was at least somewhat of a transition. But you got to think of these 18-year-olds who jump in, go straight on active duty, and are in there for 30 years or whatever, and are coming out. That is their life. They didn't get a little transition. So, I mean, yes, I went through some stuff with it and everything, but like Jared, going through it, that he was full time. That was all he did. And that time away from your support system at home and everything definitely affects people. Luckily, a lot of mine, yes, we had patches of rough and not always great, but I had a support system at home that I could at least was sturdy. Like, when I got to where I wasn't full time and was coming home every night, I was coming home every night. Like, that's the thing, right? I was coming to my house, going home every night. There are guys out there that don't come home for 6 months, 8 months, a year sometimes. We've got a buddy who went through that when he retired. He lost his family. It when he got home, things changed. So, and that's just not just one person. That's a story I hear over and over again. And it's a big deal. And that's like I said, that's why we love doing this show. Love, I don't know. It's an important show. I wouldn't say love it because sometimes it can get deep. But I want anybody listening to this, and it doesn't just have to be a veteran, to know that you're not alone. Like, life is hard and you go through things, and you got to find a support system to help you.
And that touches on what I went through with my mental health recovery. Um, I thought I was alone, and that's the illness speaking. That's your demons talking to you, telling you there's no one else in the world who's going through what you're going through. But that's a load of BS, because there are so many people going through what you're going through. And whether you're a vet, whether you're just a regular civilian, whether you're still serving and you're struggling with your mental health, whatever is going on in your life, whatever you do for a living, um, you're not alone. You're absolutely not alone. And one of the biggest breakthroughs I had in my recovery wasn't part of my treatment. It was when I decided to become a peer specialist, and I went through the CPS training. And I was in a room full of people with mental health issues, and hearing stories that sounded not exactly like mine, but enough like mine, and people who felt the same way I did, who saw the same darkness that I did. And I think that was the big moment for me, realizing that I truly am not alone, that these demons that are in my head, other people see them too, other people hear them too, other people struggle with them too. And I'm not alone. And I think that's the biggest thing. When you feel like you've been cast out by the military, you served too many years, you got too injured, whatever the story, whatever your individual story is, and you feel like you're out there on your own, you've got nothing anymore after years of growing up in the military, like you said. um, you're not. There are literally hundreds of thousands of others across the country going through the same crap you are at the same time. And the reason why the reason why we even have this episode is because on the 22nd, 22 veterans a day. It, I mean, there are 22 veterans who face rock bottom and give up. And they're not weak. They're not a single one of those that are gone are weak. They lost their battle to that illness. They lost their battle to their trauma. Don't be number 22 tomorrow. Reach out for that help, and you're going to find a group of people sitting in a room just like you, and it's going to change your life, because you're going to realize if they can struggle and win, so can I. They're not so different than me.
Yeah, that's a big thing too, because I used to blow everything off, bottle it up, never really got, well, I can't say never got angry. I definitely dealt with some anger issues younger, but I would, I never thought I had mental illness issues. And then I talked to Ellie Jerry there a couple times. I'm like, oh, yeah, I kind of do that too. Oh, I understand what he's saying. Interesting. And then, he started going in and talking to his therapist and everything. And I'm like, man, maybe I would have been. And that's what led me to do it. That's what led me to go, hey, why not? The VA offers it. Let me go ahead and say yes. Let me be honest in this questionnaire and say, yeah, sometimes I do feel upset and sometimes I do isolate, and, I do avoid going out and doing things with friends sometimes just because I don't feel like it. And that's all the illness, right? Like, even as much as I love doing it, playing video games, even coming home at night, kids and family are there and they want to have dinner at the dinner table and do stuff. And then I just go, no, I want to go upstairs and be alone and play. Well, that's the illness, right? That's something my counselor's like, no, you need to take a step and go, okay, yes, because now you're isolating yourself, which I was completely. Now Diablo 4, totally different story, but I was isolating myself. I mean, because Amy plays it, so we're technically together just in separate rooms. But I was, though, like, I would isolate myself and kind of go, I'm up in the man cave and not really do anything but veg out and watch TV and avoid dealing with, maybe Amy and I were mad at each other, or the kids were annoying me, or she was mad at the kids. I had a bad day at work. Like, I would just avoid this stuff and just go, all right, I'm going to switch my brain off and do this, which is fine to do. I'm not saying don't do that. But when it becomes an issue to where you realize, and maybe you don't realize, and that's where talking to people is going to help, where you're avoiding family time, you're avoiding going out with, because there had been times where Ellie Jared called me and said, hey, you want to come and watch the pay-per-view? And first thing no, I don't want to do that, man. I want to sit upstairs and watch it by myself. Why? Like, we have more fun doing it together. We drink more bourbon for sure. So, like, why would I sit here and drink bourbon alone, sad, watching it on TV, when I can go to his house and, have the dogs jump all over me and have a good old time and drink bourbon, have some barbecue? And that was the illness speaking, right? Like, so little things that you don't realize are part of your mental illness and I didn't realize it. I just thought I'm antisocial, oh, I don't have any friends. No, I had lots of friends. I just didn't take the time to go do things with them. I've got a buddy now who, asked me to go to lunch, and I always was like, no. And then now it's like, I'm reaching out to him. Hey, let's go do that lunch. Like, I want to make sure we keep that connection. And I've started saying yes when he texts me. Now, granted, he said something about this week, and I'm like, I can't because of Prime Week, but hey, I will reschedule with you. Let's do it XYZ instead. So instead of just, no, I'm busy. And that's the thing that I didn't realize was part of it. I just didn't. I didn't realize that shutting myself out and not, it's just, we don't think of that stuff, right? Like, and I don't want to say sexist like that, but we're guys, we're dudes. We don't think we have mental illness issues. We're big, strong men. We're supposed to be the emotionalist ones, the ones who don't get upset. We don't cry. We don't get mad. Or, we're the ones who, our daughters growing up, don't see us cry. And that's not really a good thing, right? They should see you emotional. They should see you upset. I think when Rob passed, was the first time my daughters probably ever saw me cry. And I don't even think they saw much of it. I think I left the room. But, like, they had never seen that side of me. They just see yep, it sucks. We'll get over it, But it's just funny how those things, like I said, you just don't realize. And that's why talking to somebody helps. could be a friend, right? Like talking to Jared is what prompted me to talk to somebody professionally, but he's that support system. And, talking to you and knowing what you went through, Jeremy, is like helped me also kind of go, oh, there are some things that, matter of fact, the first 20-second we did, you had mentioned, and I don't remember if it was obsessive. You mentioned something about, I don't remember what it was, but it totally resonated with me. I don't remember what the subject was, but what resonated with me was uh, like buying stuff to fulfill, like make yourself satisfied. I am guilty of that. I mean, I got a shit ton of Funko Pops and wrestling figures, and like I just got these things because I'm like, oh, I want them. I want them. But that's part of it, right? That's me deflecting and trying to buy stuff to make me feel better that I don't really need. I don't need all these figures. I mean, I like them. They're cool, but you had said something on our first thing, and that was one of those things that triggered me. I'm like, huh, yeah, I do that. And I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it now because I don't remember exactly what we were talking about. But you said that, and it clicked with me in relation to something else you had said. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then talking to Jared, I'm like, yep, I'm gonna call somebody because, I can see myself having issues. So I admit it. I have them. So it's hard to admit. You don't like to admit it, but it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched an episode of The Dark Side of Comedy, and it's the same line as like Dark Side of the Ring and all that. And the comedian was also a recovering addict, and some other elements of his life led him down a road where he didn't think he was worth anything. So anything he ever made or got or received, he just gave it away because he didn't think that he deserved it. Well, if you're out there putting in an honest day's work and, you make it to some element of your job or career and they want to reward you, well, accept that reward. If someone wants to give you an accolade or a shout out, hey, accept that, keep it moving. You shouldn't be so hard on yourself and have that zero defect mentality, thinking that if you're not perfect, sort of if you're not first, you're last. I mean, absolutely not. And, like what Jeremy said several times already, is you're not alone. And you aren't the only one who's sitting there going, man, I'm feeling this kind of way about myself or about, my situation or whatever. Okay. So what are we going to do? We're going to improve our situation. We're going to improve our quality of life. We're going to make our friend group stronger, or we can just sit and complain about it. I like the first part of what are we going to do? We're getting help. We're talking to people. We're surrounding ourselves with people that make us better. And there's a healthy competition there. You've got a strong friend group where, no matter what, I know no matter what, I've got 3 or 4 people that if something was going on and I had to call them, there wouldn't be any questions. They would be right by my side, and we would, get through whatever it was that we were going through. So I'm extremely fortunate, even though, I've got other things going on in life and Tiffany's got other things going on. It could be so much worse. And, to have this show, to have this platform, to have you in my life, I think every day is getting better. And, I encourage anyone who's sitting there right now and you're flipping through your phone, you're listening to the show, you're like me, I've got 3 televisions or 3 monitors with wrestling on 2 of the 3, and then some mental health stuff up on the other one. And, if it's resonating with you, awesome. If you're feeling like a certain kind of way and you need help, dial 988. That someone will pick up. The system will pick up. If the system picks up, hit 1. If you are a veteran, hop on My Healthy Vet app right there in If you're an Apple user, right there in the Apple Play Store. If you're a Android, you can get it right there in the Google Store. I totally encourage everyone to get what they need, because, man, life's pretty good.
Yeah. And that's not to put your business out there, but for you to say life's pretty good with some of the stuff you're going through, which, I mean, we've announced it before, so I'm just not going to keep bringing it up. You know, that tells you something, that the mental health help you're getting is helping, because, you know, I've known you, what, 3 years now, 2 or 3 years now. And I think about the Ellie Jer that I knew, hell, even a year ago before you started getting help with what you're going through now. I don't think it would be handled the same. I'm trying not to get too many details and all that, but like, I can see the difference in you, you know, and like,
Yeah.
I just, like, a year ago, and even we weren't even that close a year. We just talked wrestling at work, and we're coworkers. But even then, I was like, oof, like, all right, like, I can't see the situation you got going now and what that would have been done. So like, the fact that you had the, not even foresight, but you sought out the help, you've helped adjust and have coping mechanisms, really happened at a good time before you got smacked in the face with the big C word. And I don't mean cock.
Yeah. Hey, just for the peeps, the fam that's out there, like what Jay Tilley's talking about. I decided in February that I was going to take the month of February off, and right in line off of drinking. And I took the month of February off, and right at the same time, I started getting counseling. And we recently found out that Tiffany has pancreatic cancer. And anytime people hear pancreatic cancer, instantly you're like, oh, that's Patrick Swayze or Steve Jobs, whatever. It was caught in time. She had the surgery. Cancer's been removed. She starts chemo on Monday. So it's going to be an interesting ride. And, you know, we're much better people for what we're going through right now. And we're gonna beat this thing. And we'll be done in February. We'll hit WrestleMania in April. And if SummerSlam is somewhere nearby, I'll go there. That way I can see Cody win his undisputed Universal Championship.
Yes. Hey, I hear the talks are Orlando or Tampa for some big pay-per-view in either next year or the year after. So maybe a WrestleMania. That'd be cool. I get 2 of them. That'd be awesome.
Oh man,
Yep. So we got about 12 minutes left. We can do some more mental health talk, or we can talk a little bit of wrestling if you want. I felt like that was a good place to wrap up the mental health stuff. And we promised the guys at the Fantasy Sports Corp that we go an hour. I didn't tell them we were doing a mental health episode today, though. So he'll be surprised. Commish, I apologize, but it just happened. This fell on the 22nd. But, we could talk a little bit of wrestling. And I'm curious, Jeremy, you said you haven't been watching much. Have you watched any wrestling, WWE or anything? Well, you can't watch AEW, but have you watched any WWE lately?
No, I've not. I've just been following some stuff on Facebook and stuff.
Okay.
I have not watched any.
Man, it has been such a busy couple of weeks. I mean, you've got a new Impact X Division champion in Lio Rush. Congratulations to him. Great showing over there with Impact. And Trinity Fatu recently won the Impact Women's Championship from Deonna Purrazzo. Awesome match. If you get a minute, go check that out. Super cool. You've got recently Jack Perry put the Jungle Boy character to bed, and comes out the victor with the FTW title over there in AEW. And they're talking about new titles over there in the WWE, and also at Impact as well. They're going to come out with a championship that's going to be similar to the Peer Championship that they compete for. And they had a title way back. When I say way back, like 20 years, Impact isn't that old, but they had a title back in the day, and it was like the Grand Champion or something like that, or the Mountain Champion of the Mountain, King of the Mountain, something. They're talking about
Sounds
bringing that
familiar.
title out, and that will be a title similar to the Peer title, which Grisham wants to defend and all that. So a lot of really good stuff. And then probably the most like mind-boggling is Dirty Dom is your NXT North American champion over in the WWE, and totally crazy. We talk about faces and who's going to be the face of a company. I think right now the WWE is
He's the
positioning
ass.
themselves. What's that?
I said he's the ass of the company.
Yeah. What they're getting ready to do, I think, is they're positioning themselves to be able to have the Judgment Day be that next pillar. And just imagine, I think this is so awesome that Rhea Ripley will be the face of the WWE, and along with Damian Priest, who's carrying around the Money in the Bank, and then you have Finn, who's competing for the world title at SummerSlam. There's so much good going on in professional wrestling. If you're not watching everything, and obviously you have all that New Japan stuff. AEW just did their Blood and Guts. I did watch a portion of it. I'm going to go back and watch it all again tonight. Just crazy. And now you're going to have Claudio Castagnoli lock up with Pac. That was
last night.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch that. That's just going to be fun. So
yeah. So little spoiler. Well, should I tell you or not? I don't know. But we have new Ring of Honor tag team champions too, with Aussie Open won last night. Yep, they won that 4-way last night.
Good for them.
So you're going over champions. I'm like, you missed Aussie Open, but then you said you hadn't watched it. I was like, oh, okay, I feel bad now. But
good for them. They recently signed their deal with AEW, and they went to New Japan and said, hey, we want to sign a long-term deal. New Japan was like, hey, not right now. We'll get back to you next year. And Aussie Open got the opportunity to compete at Forbidden Door 2, and boom. And now here they are. They're all elite. They're your Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, and they have a fat deal for the next 3 years. So, man, good time.
And another cool thing from Ring of Honor last night is I believe Willow and Athena main evented it. And from what I understand,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it yet either, and I need to.
But I hear awesome.
That match, from what I understand, was almost match of the night. I heard it was fantastic, 5-star, really good stuff. I won't give you the spoiler on who won.
That's so awesome.
But yeah, I believe they main evented last night, which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that's pretty memorable for Ring of Honor. Kudos
that's
to Tony. And normally you get a women's match on a 2-hour show at an hour and 22 minutes.
Well, Chris Statlander and Marina Shafir main evented Rampage. So that's 2 main event for women on Friday, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Go good Tony. Got a lot of work to do still, but I'm good with that. That's a good start.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Good start. So hopefully we'll see more and more from him as more of the women getting some spotlight, because they've got some really good women wrestlers in AEW.
Crazy.
And he keeps talking about wanting to bring some of the Stardom people over. So I would love to see some of those matches. Hell, do all women's Forbidden Door.
I was about to say have an all women's pay-per-view and just burn the house down. Just man, they have
Jeremy's
so many awesome
board.
Yeah. So many awesome athletes. Just it'd be bonkers. Like, man.
I was thinking on the WWE thing about the Judgment. I agree the Judgment Day is going to be the next stable that they're going to carry the company and all that. But Rhea Ripley being the face of the company, not as long as Vince has a say.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll never have a woman face of the company. It's not going to happen. He's a sexist asshole. It's not going to happen.
Allegedly. But yeah.
If allegedly, if Stephanie still had as much pull as she used to, we could potentially see something like that, because she, not single-handedly by any means, but she was a big driving force behind the end of the Divas and the beginning of the women's division. Women wrestlers are taken more seriously in WWE because of her and the wrestlers themselves efforts. And Rhea Ripley is definitely would make a great face for face heel whatever. But she would be a great person
Ooh,
to carry
nice
the
one. Look
company.
at what he's picking up. How about
Yeah,
that?
I
like a
know all this
facey
stuff.
heel.
I've been a wrestling fan for years.
Go
I
ahead.
she could carry the company, absolutely. I'm not as hot on her as you two are. I don't drool over mommy. But she's crazy talented. I really wish they'd done more with her. I wish they'd do more with her and Asuka.
Yeah.
I think that would be a hell of a rivalry. But isn't Asuka on the other show?
Yep, but that doesn't matter.
So-
So is Dominic's on Monday night, and he showed up on SmackDown last night. So and had a
Yeah.
match, so it doesn't matter. 3 weeks
The
in,
was
brand
on-
divisions. The brand divisions last about a week, and then that's it.
Three.
That's
Yeah.
how
3
it's
weeks. We
gone.
counted it.
Yeah. He
3
was
weeks.
on
That's how
all
it
3
always has
shows.
been.
Yep.
Dominic Mysterio was on all 3 shows. He main evented on Monday night, and then he main evented NXT with the North American Championship.
Yep.
And then he was in the tag team match on Friday, or he was in another match on Friday. Like,
Yeah, he took on Butch for the North
Wow.
American, and he main evented.
oh, that's what it was.
He main evented that too.
Yeah, so he's the first WWE superstar to main event all 3 shows, and you're like,
It's insane.
you had to throw that chip at Dominic Mysterio,
right.
Come on, there is so much better
Man.
talent. than
And then,
Dominic
I
Mysterio.
think-
like just the fact that he main evented Raw alone is such
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
Daddy's
come
definitely
on.
got some pull for sure.
Yeah,
But,
he
And then I
he
think I
really can
saw.
pull stuff off in the ring. He has very stale charisma when it comes to the camera.
Oh
he-
yeah.
He can't cut a promo to save his life. What the hell is WWE doing?
the crowd eviscerates him though. Like, oh,
Every
man.
time.
You turn
Or they
you
pipe
turn
it
your
in, one
back
of the
on
two.
Rey Mysterio. Yeah, you turn your back on Rey Mysterio, and you're gonna get burned.
Well,
for,
of course.
he'll probably
He's been a
be
fan
hated for
favorite
the
his
next
entire
year.
career.
Yep.
Yeah,
Everybody loves
And
Will
then-
Ray.
All in ticket sales are creeping over that 75,000 mark. So that's amazing for that show. I cannot wait till they start dropping some card issues. I think now that Blood and Guts is over, we'll start seeing some of that too. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, man, that's a huge venue for AEW, huge win. Lots of good stuff going on in wrestling. Next Saturday on this channel, on this channel on YouTube, on our channel on Rumble. Hopefully, if they're anyway, yeah. Next Saturday, we'll go back to our weekly review, kind of go over news, notes, and what happened in wrestling. We are getting back to our normal schedule. Knock on wood. I would knock, but it would be really loud and shake my camera. But knock on wood. Tuesday, Thursday live on YouTube and Rumble, our channel, No Shave Man Cave. Check us out. We'll be on there. Like I said at the start of the show, Thunder Rosa, her podcast / YouTube show, Thunder Nights. We will be on 11 p.m. Eastern, I believe it is. I'll get confirmation. We'll drop it on Twitter. We'll tag it. We'll share the hell out of it. But we will be on her show Monday night after Raw, talking a little bit about mental health and what we do as far as our podcast and the 20-second show. And, we might drop some wrestling in and on there too. Follow us anywhere you want to. I guess Threads. We're on Threads now. Ellie Jer set that up, but No Shave Man Cave.
Yep.
Hook us up. Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. The other one that we're waiting for confirmation on, Blue Steel or no, whatever that one was.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, yeah. Blue Steel was the face that Zoolander makes. But appreciate everybody listening. Going to toss it to Jeremy real quick before we hot tag out to Jared. Jeremy, you got anything to plug or want to talk about? Maybe a podcast you want to start?
Yeah, I was actually going to talk to you after we got off the air, but I would very much like to record tomorrow if you're available.
We'll talk off the air. I don't know. I don't know what my schedule looks like tomorrow. To be honest with you, I don't remember.
Hopefully in the next few days, we're going to go ahead and record the first episode of Roll for Recovery, my mental health and gaming podcast. Format will be something we kind of develop on the fly, but yeah, looking forward to that. As always, 988 if you're in crisis, if you need help, if you need support. You can also text to 988 and then you be connected to a representative that can help you. Why am I drawing a blank on the Veterans Association, the Wounded Warrior
Warriors?
Project? Yeah, Wounded Warrior Projects for all veterans and active duty who need help, and take the time you need to get the help you need.
All right. Hot tagging this three-way to Ellie Jer.
Bump and feed, bump and feed. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here today in the No Shave Man Cave. Thank you to the Fantasy Sports Corp and to all of you that are hitting us up wherever you get your socials. No Shave Man Cave. Until next time, I'm Ellie Jer for Jay Tilley and the tickler. Couldn't get out of it without one. Thank you for joining us. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you on the floor.